Hello, Music Man here. In this video, I'm going to be reviewing some mechanic gameplay and some Wu Chang gameplay that was sent to me. So let's take a look. Okay, so this gameplay was sent in to me from the mechanic, and we can see the mechanic is dropping the doll right away, doing the smart thing, hiding the doll, and probably gonna go straight to whatever cipher is in hospital. You can see it was spawn group 3. We know that because that's the back part of ruin spawn, and this is the standard rotation to go right to this back area right here. That's exactly what I would have done as this feaster, is go towards that back cave. An excellent tentacle from the feaster right there. That was great patience while the postman was circling around, and it paid off. And we can see that this is an extremely early down. This would be a down that pretty much should secure a win for a feaster, just because feaster has super strong camping. So at this point, I mean, you do have a prisoner and a mechanic, so you might be able to cipher rush your way out of this, although it's going to be extremely tough because mechanics decoding is a lot slower after someone is injured. And that's the tough thing about having a mechanic on the team, is if a lot of your players get injured fast, she's going to be super reliant on the doll. Now at this point you can focus on, the feaster can focus on getting that double hit since he got the tentacle hit. And now he's at maximum presence, so this becomes extremely tough to rescue off of. Okay. And it looks like he's going to be going in deep for that double hit. Which, I mean, is a smart thing to do. Getting that double hit, essentially, especially in this type of a team comp, is really important. Although, he has to make sure to not get too distracted from the prisoner there, in case someone decided to come back to heal. And we can see that's not going to be the case. So, you can go ahead and take him to the ruins chair right there. I think that's the smart thing to do here. And now the postman is going to be dead on chair if he's rescued again, if you all decide to rescue at all. The smart thing might actually be to do here is to cipher rush. Now it looks like the prisoner is decoding with the doll, so just a key thing here. No, that's not the prisoner. Someone was decoding with the doll, I believe, and when it comes to having a mechanic on the team, you don't want to decode with it. You want to get as many ciphers being decoded at once as possible, and it's really tough for the mechanic to move both her main body and the doll. It just takes a lot of time to do that, so you want to have them on their respective ciphers for as long as possible. And we can see that this feaster is running Peeper, which is sort of a standard thing for a feaster to do. I'm assuming a relatively standard build as well. That was a questionable stun there. And this feaster does a nice job exploiting that super long hitbox. That's about, I think, the length of White Wu Chang's, just not quite as wide as Feaster's hitbox, something around there. But we can see that the prisoner is going to be on chair. Now at this point, if I was this feaster, I would just camp this down, because I know if this survivor blasts off, then that will be the end of this game. Although there is a decent chance that a few of these ciphers are prime. Oh, what I would have done there is I would have followed up with a regular attack for that double hit on the prospect instead of going for another tentacle. You gotta be careful about not getting jump scared there. And this feaster is doing the smart thing, making sure he's downing the prospector before placing that prisoner on the chair again. Now his tinnitus is off, and it looks like he's going to be taking him back to the chair. And we can see it looks like you got a football from a chest, which, I mean, honestly, going for the best rescue tool is totally fine, because at this point, I believe it's minus, I forget how much it is. It's like minus 25% per person on chair or something like that. So at this point, you probably decode about as fast as a Gravekeeper, but it looks like that football is going to come in clutch for that last second rescue before the rocket chair blasts off. And yep, you can't heal a Tide. You can't heal a Tide. So it looks like you're just going to pop that Cypher. And it does actually look like the Prospector struggled away. I don't think it was smart for that prisoner to run straight into the Hunter there, especially because he was dead on chair. But it looks like the best thing for you to do might just be to decode in the hopes of possibly a tie, in the case that the prisoner is able to kite for a while. I guess going for a chest is good too, but I would say most likely you're going to want to go for that decoding if at all possible. What did you get there? Oh, you did get a Merc pad. I don't think that's going to help you a whole lot. Healing up is going to work too, just as well, as long as this prisoner is going to be able to kite, because the Prospector, I mean, he does have a decoding debuff, but he gets more calibrations and essentially can decode about as fast as a normal character if he hits all his perfects. But I think healing up would be a smart thing to do here. Now that both you and that Prospector need to decode, and now your decoding debuff isn't nearly as much because you all healed up. And the prisoner was dead on chair. So at this point, there's a slight possibility of a tie. Not quite sure why the Prospector was trying to... Maybe he forgot the mechanic was dead on... The prisoner was dead on chair or something, but... You can see the Prospector is going to have that kite and gets a really smart hit through that pallet there. He still has his peepers, so this is going to be a really tough kite for this Prospector to pull off, especially for two Cyphers. Yeah, okay, we kind of saw that one coming. And now, actually, he could justify just placing the Prospector on the chair, although it does look like this Feaster is going for the 4-man. Now, the reason why I say you can just go ahead and put him on the chair is that, one, it's a mechanic, and the mechanic is, if you're a really good hunter, a mechanic shouldn't be able to kite you that well. Although it looks like you did pop a Cypher, so this Feaster needs to start being more careful, because if he plays his cards wrong, then Cypher Rush could potentially catch back up to him. If I was that Feaster, I would break that God Pallet there. That's an important God Pallet to get rid of as soon as possible. The transition into hospital is a smart move as well, though. Because hospital is obviously the best kiting area, possibly even in this game. Leo's factory is also a really good kiting area for survivors, but I have to say that hospital probably takes the cake. You're gonna have to be careful, though, to not run into that Prospector, though. Which I assume is at a Prime Cypher, being that he's just standing still. Yeah, that's what it appears like is going on. So what you probably should do is get hit not by a tentacle. You're probably going to want to get down by the main body in hospital, so hopefully you can stall enough time to potentially leave through the gate. Okay, there we go. That was a bit of a delayed prime there, not gonna lie. This is gonna be a tough kite though. But you could potentially get a tie if Dungeon's in the right spot or anything like that, but it was a risky move going for the 4-man by the piece, and we can see that coming into action here. We can see you're gonna make your way to these pallets here. I like what you're doing with looking behind you as you kite. That's something that a lot of survivors don't do, but I mean, you'll see it if I ever play Survivor during any of my next streams. Is something that I don't know if I could kite without kiting behind me, but if I was this feaster, I would probably want to use my tentacles to block exits and stuff. It does look like you are having an excellent kite here, but then again, it's also important that you're able to make it to the gate and stuff. So the thing with the Nightmare Gaze is, if he was spamming that Nightmare Gaze button like he should have been, there would have been a decent chance that that tentacle would have hit you. And we can see that dungeon is over in Crap Corner. Let's see. So it's either going to be that you're going to kite to the gate, or you're going to kite to the corner over there for that dungeon. And being that the prospector is camping the gate, either one is perfectly viable. And it looks like the feaster might have lost you. So you might actually be able to just go right to Shack Gate or wait for the feaster to leave. Either one would be perfectly fine. You do have that heartbeat, so the crows aren't going to come off. I probably would have personally waited a little longer on that feaster. You can see, yeah, he's doubling back. But if his tinnitus went off, he might have started rotating more towards Shack Gate. And it does look like you're going to be able to get this escape here as long as you aren't hit by a tentacle. And wow, you ended up pulling this from a distinct loss into a draw. Excellent job there. Excellent job there. Okay, so it looks like you're Wu Chang on Ever Sleepin', and you're gonna start walking your way towards the center of the map. That's what it looks like. Now, standard rotation, at least what I've seen in IVL, is that they try to get out of the center area, since that's where hunters tend to like to go in this map. Not exactly sure what these survivors were doing right here, although one thing that I would make sure that I know is if I want to do a Wu Chang main, I make sure to know all of my spawn points, yes, even obviously. The thing is, I don't really use him there so much. A lot of times I just kind of go towards the center of the map as a general rule of thumb, in case a survivor stays in that area. And I've just kind of got a feel for it. So if I was that prospector there, if I got hit early like that, I would do everything I can to get out of that scenario, not pulling the Wu Chang towards me like a magnet. It's a crazy move there. I can see what Wu Chang do there is Soul Siphon Mercenary, although that's tough to do around pallets. But so far, you've gotten extremely early down. Obviously, the Mercenary has not done any decoding. And at this point, just go for that double hit. Yeah. And I would Soul Siphon to catch up. And you can see your Soul Siphon's back up. And that's exactly what you're going to do. What is the doc doing? I'm confused. Oh, that was almost a really good blink there. If you probably would have done a charge attack, that probably would have hit. At this point, you probably could have just completely changed target and targeted the mercenary. Although, you could still justify going against the prospector, because there's still 5 ciphers remaining. And you do end up getting that down, but keep in mind, the mercenary is back up, because Doctor has super fast hands. And it looks like the Merc is all the way here. You probably actually could have gotten a hit in the balloons there, but what are both these survivors doing here for the rescue? That's confusing. And Doc with Ty, that's interesting. I do not usually recommend Doc carrying Ty. And also, keep in mind, you cannot use Tram when you've got Tide Turner active. And think the prospector knew that. And there we go. It looks like this is going to be... Oh, don't get chewed. Oh, if that was a push button, if there was a decent chance he could have actually made tram there. That would have been a headache for you right now. But you do have time to commit to another chase still, because you still got 4 ciphers remaining, and this merc hasn't... I don't think this merc has decoded at all here, and I don't know why he's sticking around. Maybe he forgot that the prospector was dead on chair. Either way, merc is in this area. He should use his elbow pads right now to get to corner. It looks like he did get double. So if you can down on the mercenary, it looks like it's going to be pretty much a guaranteed win at this point. At this point, you definitely have a guaranteed tie, but camping that down, forcing other survivors to go for the rescue there. Lose the merc there? That's almost what it looks like happened. Anyways, you're going through corner house, you see footprints, and that is actually the doctor. I'm not sure what the doctor was going for in this area, possibly going for the rescue. What that doc should have done was take the whole boost and just get out of there, so that you'd be able to heal up. But you are able to get the down on the doctor. That's one of their main decoders at this point. 3 ciphers left. It's unlikely that they'll be able to come out with a comeback, but... At this point, Dancer has to go for a rescue, if there is going to be any rescue here. I don't know about how I feel about switching to white Wu Chang there. I feel like it's personally unnecessary, unless if it's a lot closer to the chair ending. Now, if you did a charge attack there was a decent chance you might have actually been able to do a really fancy blink terror shock there. But you're playing it safe, which I think is totally cool. Dancer's going down, and you're gonna go back for that doctor. And I believe the mercenary still does have his self-heal, so that's something to keep in mind. Although it looks like Merc's just opening a chest, no decoding's going on, and it looks like you're doing the smart thing, not going for the 4-man there. If this is ranked, you do not need to go for the 4-man unless you explicitly know that you can. But just like we saw with the Feaster match last round, if you go for that 4-man, it can be a little riskier if you get kited. Yep. And it looks like the merc is going around either looking for dungeon, probably. But either way, looks like female dancer is gonna be dead on chair, because that's not gonna be a rescue before half. Remember, if the chair progress goes above half, that means that the next time they are chaired, they are guaranteed to get blasted off. Will this merc go for the rescue? It looks like not. But it looks like he is camping the dungeon in this area. And with this passive ability, it does look like he'll be able to escape. Although you did get an excellent blink there. And that was very close to a dungeon escape, but you ended up stuffing the dungeon escape. Beautiful, beautiful job there. You did an excellent job as a Wu Chang. Just remember to memorize your saving points at some point for ever sleeping, so you can get instant teleports for faster hits. That's a pretty standard build. I go left up, I go left down and take the rest of my points up, but what you do works just fine. Just some tips for the survivors, though, is that they need to make sure they're decoding. Don't send more than one survivor to the rescue. For the mercenary, work on avoiding the double hits. And yeah, excellent job. Well, I hope you all enjoyed this video. Thank you for sticking around this far. If you want your gameplay reviewed in a future video, instructions are in the description below on how you can send in gameplay. And thank you all so much for watching.